Record ko na. Okay. So our topic for this week is all about earthquakes. So ito na yung start ng ating second quarter, and our second quarter will focus on earth science. So tapos na tayo doon sa physics. Yes, wala nang computation. For now. Okay, for now. Pero meron pa rin in some areas na magiging computation. Okay, so for earth science, ang coverage niya is tatlong topics. The first topic is all about earthquakes. The second topic is all about typhoons. And then the third topic is all about the different, the other members of the solar system, which is yung comets, yung meteors, at saka yung asteroids. So, hindi na natin focus yung sun, hindi na natin focus yung moon, hindi na natin focus yung planets. Kasi, lagi nang yun ang topic when it comes to the solar system. So, ang pag-uusapan naman natin is the other members of the solar system na hindi masyadong napag-uusapan, which is yung comets, yung asteroids, tsaka yung meteors. So, tatlo yung topic natin when it comes to earth science. So, syempre, uunahin natin ngayon yung topic ng earthquake. Tapos, after nito is yung topic ng typhoon, which is two of the most common phenomenon na nararanasan natin in the Philippines. Okay? May mga countries kasi who doesn't experience a lot of typhoons, who doesn't experience a lot of earthquakes. Pero pagdating sa Philippines, common na common sa atin ang earthquake, common na common sa atin ang typhoon. So yung earthquake na yan, tinutulugan nyo na nga lang yan. Di na kayo masyadong takot sa earthquake kasi sanay na kayo that every year, meron at meron kayong nararamdaman na earthquake. Sanay na rin kayo na every year, meron at meron talagang typhoon na medyo malala. Most of the time nga, lalo pag face-to-face, mas gusto ninyong may typhoon kasi merong suspension of classes. Okay, may tanong si Mavin, kasama po ba sa typhoon ang tornadoes? To be honest, the answer is yes. Kasi they're just the same. Tornadoes and typhoons or hurricanes are actually just the same. Magkaiba lang yung tawag. Sa northern hemisphere, sa northern part, especially in Northern America, ang tawag nila sa bagyo ay hurricane. Sa atin, ang tawag natin ay typhoon. Okay? So, they're just the same. So, yes, kasama siya. Pero syempre, since contextualized yung lesson natin, meaning we are going to talk about how it applies to us and in the Philippines, yung mga common na nangyayari. So we are going to focus more on typhoons rather than hurricanes. But actually, they are just the same. Okay? Yung hurricane may water and wind. Yung typhoon tornado is more of wind. But they're actually produced by low pressure areas then. If you will remember sa grade 7, we established that cold air goes down and then hot air goes up. So pagka nagsalubong na sila, that's when it forms yung paikot na movement ng wind, which is what you see in tornadoes. And then pag may kasama na siyang water, then that's your typhoon or your hurricanes. So they're just actually the same. So very similar in structure at saka kung ano yung mga devastations na nangyayari sa kanya. Okay, so that is the coverage for earth science. Wait lang. Okay, so let's Okay, so let's start with our topic. So let's first establish what is an earthquake nga ba. Okay, so what is an earthquake? Before I give the actual definition, Brian, can you give me one word na pumapasok sa isip mo when you think about the word earthquake? Isang word.
Lumilindol.
Yes.
Mga ganon.
Okay, so earthquake is yes, lindol. So you know that right now there's an earthquake that's happening. If yung sinasabi mong, uy, lumilindol or may lindol. Now, how do you know na lumilindol? Missy, can you give me another word? na pumapasok sa isip mo or alam mong lumilindol pag nangyayari to?
Pag yumayanig po, Chair.
Yumayanig or there is a shaking of the ground, of yung bahay ninyo, yung lamesa, or anything na observable. Pag yumayanig siya or it shakes, may movement, then we know that lumilindol. At pag nalaman mo ng lumilindol, ano ang usual mong ginagawa? Ira?
Chair, yung duck cover and hold.
Thank you very much. Ayan, nakikinig si Ira kay Sir John Ray nung earthquake drill. Kasi pag may lindol, what we do is we duck, we cover, and we hold. So hindi tayo magpo-post sa Facebook na, uy, lumilindol. Kasi lahat naman ng tao nararamdaman na lumilindol. Ba't mo pa kailangang sabihin sa kanya na lumilindol? Paunahan ba to kung sinong unang nakaramdam ng lindol? Hindi naman, di ba? So, in order to keep ourselves and of course our family members safe, we have to be aware of what to do before, during, or after an earthquake. So yun yung aaralin natin for this week and next week. We're going to learn what is an earthquake at bakit nagkakaroon ng earthquake. What are the areas or saan ba usually nangyayari ang isang earthquake? How do we measure earthquake? And one of the things that we're going to learn probably next week is we're going to identify nasaan nga ba yung epicenter or yung gitna, yung mata ng isang earthquake. So I'm going to teach you how to locate the epicenter of an earthquake. So magkakaroon tayo ng identification ng P waves and S waves. And then the most important, of course, is we have to be knowledgeable on the things to do not just during an earthquake, but also before and after. Kasi syempre, we are learning all about earthquakes so that we can keep ourselves and our family safe. So we are safer if we know what to do before, during, and after an earthquake. Okay? So sabi ni Bryle, sabi ni Ira, at sabi ni Missy, ang earthquake daw, malalaman, nangyayari siya pag nagkakaroon ng movement or shaking of the ground. Ito yung tinatawag nating lindol. So by definition, earthquakes are ground movements that occur when blocks of rock and earth move suddenly and release energy. Okay? So if you will remember in grade 7, we learned that the earth is made up of different layers. May tatlong layer ang ating earth. Kuya Marvin, can you give one layer of the earth?
Crust.
The crust. So yung crust, ito yung nasa ibabaw. Ito yung tinatapakan natin when we are walking. So the crust is solid pero very thin. Napakanipis niya. Okay? And you have to remember that the crust is not actually continuous. Diba? Meron siyang mga breaks or meron siyang mga areas kung saan naghihiwalay yung mga crust, and that is what we call as yung tectonic plates. So hindi siya isang buong manipis na crust na ganun. Meron siyang mga putol-putol or may mga breaks in between our crust. Any other student who remember ang layers of the earth? Ano yung pangalawa? Nicole, do you remember what is under the crust? Ano yung second layer of the earth? How about si Eliza? Do you remember the second layer of the earth other than the crust? Asan na si Nicole at saka si Eliza? You can chat your answers. Ayan, may nag-chat na. Ayan! Sinagot ni Mavin. Buti na lang privately. Sino pa? Wala na. Okay, sige. So, si Kuya Mavin, sabi niya, the second layer is what we call as your mantle. So, yung nasa ilalim ng crust, which is the mantle, you have to remember that it is not solid. But it's also not it's liquid, pero yung liquid niya is parang honey. Very viscous siya, yung malapot na malapot. So pag inimagine nyo siya, hindi siya parang tubig na malabnaw. Para siyang honey. Na pag, di ba kung mapapansin nyo yung honey, pag pinopour nyo siya, medyo mabagal yung kanyang movement kasi malapot yung honey. So ganun yung itsura ng mantle. Kaya, since the crust is on top of the mantle, you can imagine or it is possible for the crust to move. Pero yung movement nila, hindi ganon kalaki or hindi ganon kalayo agad yung movement nila. So, may mga movement sila pero very little. Pero pagka na-accumulate na siya over time, saka natin nararanasan yung or nararamdaman yung movement niya. So, meron tayong mga tinatawag na plates. So, for example, this is plate number 1 and this is plate number 2. They can move away from each other because of the movement of the crust, or they can move towards each other. So, when they are moving towards each other, you have to expect na doon sa area where they meet, syempre napakataas yung pressure na yan because they are pushing each other. Okay, they're pushing each other. And there will come a time that the pressure is too much. So magkakaroon na yung tinatawag nating strike and slip. So maaaring too much na yung pressure and then it will start to strike and slip na ganon. So merong isang plate papunta sa taas, may isang plate papunta sa baba. Pag nagkaroon na ng strike and slip, doon na nagkakaroon ng earthquake. Kasi nung nag-move na siyang ganon, yun na yung nararamdaman nating earthquakes. Okay? So earthquakes are actually one of the ways that the earth is able to release pressure on the inside. So parang pressure cooker lang yan. Kailangan meron siyang ma-release pa konti-konti na pressure. Otherwise, pag hindi niya na-release yun, sasabog yung pressure cooker. So ganun din yung ating earth. Mataas yung pressure sa loob kasi napakainit ng molten magma inside. And in order for them to release or for the earth to release some of these pressures, nagkakaroon ng earthquakes. Otherwise, pag hindi, sasabog yung ating planet. So this energy that is released pag nag-strike and slip na yung dalawang plates, it generates seismic waves which causes the ground to move. So yung energy na yon makes the ground move or makes the ground shake, which is yun yung observable natin, yun yung nararamdaman nating effect niya, and we call that as lindol. Okay? So sabi dito, there are several, wait lang, may nag-chat-chat. Okay, sige, CR ka lang, Missy. There's no problem. Sabi ko nga, if you miss some part of the lessons, I will be uploading this sa YouTube na lang. So, pwede nyong balik-balikan. Okay? So, there are several parts of an earthquake. I will be, ayan. So, meron tayong tinatawag na epicenter at meron tayong tinatawag na focus. So, sabi dito, the focus is a place within the earth along a fault where the first motion of an earthquake occurs. And then, the place directly on top of the focus is what we call as your epicenter. So let's look at the diagram. So for example, this is a plate number 1. So this is plate number 1 and this is plate number 2. So you can imagine that they are pushing against each other. So they are moving in the same direction. Ayan. So itong area na to, very high ang pressure. So nagkaroon na ng strike and slip. So naghiwalay, kung mapapansin niyo ang movement nila pa ganon. Okay? Pa ganyan. Okay. So itong area na to, this is what we call as your focus. So ibig sabihin, dito nagsimula yung earthquake. So the energy was released here. Ito yung kanyang fault line. So along the fault line, nandiyan yung tinatawag nating focus. And then perpendicular to that, directly on top of that is what we call as the epicenter. So itong epicenter na to, ito yung tinatawag nilang, ito yung sinasabi ng hindi pag-asa, pero ito yung sinasabi nilang parang sentro ng ating lindol. Okay, so if you will see yung mga reports nila lagi, sinasabi kung nasaan yung epicenter ng earthquake. So kung ang epicenter ay nandito sa Zambales, you can experience a much stronger earthquake dun sa malalapit doon sa epicenter. So habang mas malapit ka sa epicenter, mas malakas yung movement or yung shaking na ma-experience mo. Compared if malayo ka sa epicenter, hindi mo siya masyadong nararamdaman. So for example, pag nagkaroon ng earthquake in Mindanao and the epicenter is in Davao, chances are hindi natin siya mararamdaman dito sa Subic kasi masyado na tayong malayo sa Davao. Pero pag nagkaroon ng earthquake na ang epicenter ay nasa Batangas, mararamdaman natin siya. Pero hindi ganun kalakas kasi medyo malayo na. Pero pag kinumpare mo yung earthquake na ang epicenter ay nasa Bataan, ayan, malakas na kasi malapit na sa atin yan. So the closer you are to the epicenter, the stronger yung movement na ma-experience mo. So very important that we identify yung epicenter ng isang anong tawag dito, ng isang earthquake. Lalong-lalo na yung mga scientists, pag na-identify nila yung epicenter ay nangyari sa isang oceanic crust. Ibig sabihin ng oceanic crust, nasa ilalim ng tubig. Pag nagkaroon ng epicenter na nasa oceanic crust, we have to be alert kasi ito yung nagpo-produce ng tinatawag nating tsunamis. So they have to record or they have to identify nasan nga ba yung epicenter ng mga lindol, whether it is in a continental crust or it is in a oceanic crust. Pag oceanic crust, they have to give the warning of possible tsunamis. Pagka naman nasa continental crust, depende sa intensity or lakas ng bagyo, they have to give out warnings if you need to evacuate or kung hindi naman super lakas, then you just have to duck, hold, and cover. Okay? So, let's continue. So, ano nga ba ang nagkukos ng tinatawag nating earthquake? To be honest, earthquakes are very natural occurrences. Okay? So, hindi siya kasalanan ng tao kung bakit nagkakaroon ng earthquake. Regardless if we do something, regardless of what we do, earthquakes are natural. So, may experience natin siya depending on your location. So, sabi ko nga, may mga bansa such as the Philippines or Japan that are always experiencing earthquakes. Pero meron namang mga countries such as Korea or other countries na hindi common sa kanila yung tinatawag nating earthquakes. But they are not caused by human action. So, hindi tayo ang may dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng earthquake. Okay? So, this is a natural phenomenon. So, it happens naturally. It will always happen and there is nothing that we can do to stop earthquakes from happening. So, kahit gaano na tayo ka-advanced, we cannot put a stop to earthquakes. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, it is one of the ways in which our earth releases some of the pressure inside. So, kailangan makapagbawas-bawas, otherwise, sasabog. Kayo din naman, pag galit kayo, pag nagpatong-patong at alam niyo yun, naipon yung galit ninyo, di ba? Minsan hindi nyo rin napipigilan, nagkakaroon kayo ng outburst. So, ganun din, the earth has to release some of the pressure through what we call as earthquakes. So, we cannot stop earthquakes from happening. But we can have a better understanding on what causes earthquakes so that we can be more prepared about it. So ano nga bang dahilan ng earthquakes? So the first and most common reason why there is earthquake is because there are two plates or tectonic plates that are pushing against each other. So dahil sila ay nagpapalakasan at tinatry nilang tanggalin yung isa, So nagkakaroon ng pressure dyan, and the pressure releases energy which causes your earthquakes. So hindi naman natin mapipigilan yung plate tectonics from moving, and we also cannot stop the plate tectonics from moving towards each other. Diba? Kasi nga, the magma is very, it's liquid, it's viscous. So talagang yung crust na nasa ibabaw niya will continue moving towards or away from each other. So hindi natin mapipigilan yon. Okay? And then of course, we have what we call as yung faults, in which the Earth's crust are like, alam niyo yun, yung breakage nila. And this is where most of the earthquakes happen. So pag merong fault sa area, most common na magkaroon ng earthquake doon, or mas common na bumigay yung area na yon. For example, in the Philippines, yung pinaka-common na fault natin is yung nandun sa Marikina Valley Fault. So kung napapansin nyo nung nakaraan, Typhoon Ulysses, yung Marikina na yung, di ba, grabe yung baha sa kanila hanggang bubong na. When we woke up 6 a.m. in the morning nung bagyong Ulysses, lahat sila
Saan ba yun, Chur?
malapit sa Manila. Okay? So merong fault line doon. Kaya hindi, to be honest, hindi advisable na magtayo ng malalaking infrastructures doon. Most likely subdivisions yung mga infrastructure nila doon. Hindi pwede yung mga malalaking SM na building or yung mga high-rises na buildings.
Babahain lang dyan.
Hindi dahil sa bahain lang siya, pero because merong fault line doon. So, hindi ganon ka-stable yung ground. At pag nagkaroon ng malakas na earthquake, maaaring bumigay. May nangyari na doon, I think it was in 1991 or 1995, na nagkaroon ng isang subdivision doon, tapos parang nagkaroon ng landslide kasi nga mahina yung lupa nila doon. The same with Olongapo. Pansinin niyo, hindi pwede ang high-rise buildings in Olongapo. Hindi pwede yung sobrang taas. Pinakamataas na building dyan is nasa 5th floors kasi hindi masyadong stable yung ground in Olongapo. Hindi siya advisable for high-rise buildings. At yung fault line in Marikina, pag nagkaroon ng malakas na earthquake doon, sakop ang Manila, sakop tayo. Kasi malapit lang tayo sa Marikina. So pag nagkaroon ng earthquake na ang strength niya ay nasa scale ng 8, magnitude 8 din tayo dito sa Subic, Zambales kasi malapit lang sa atin yung epicenter. So pagka nangyari yon, mga buildings in Manila, yung mga bridges, pati sa atin, masisira. Nung nakaraang taon, I think 2 years ago, nung nagkaroon ng summer, that was just, I think, a 6.5 earthquake. Pero natakot na kayo kasi di ba malakas? Sino yung mga nasa Harbor Point during that time? Mga 5 o'clock yun 5:30, I think, na nagkaroon ng 6.5 na earthquake. Ang lakas, di ba? 6.5 pa lang yun. Yung nagsabay yung dalawang epicenter, merong isa sa Castillejos, tas meron isa sa Pampanga. Nagsabay sila, so ramdam na ramdam mo talaga yung lindol. Takot lahat di ba? Nagkaroon ng stampede yung sa sa Olongapo downtown na mall, yung may nagbi-video na may mga bumabagsak-bagsak na daw sa SM. Ayan. So, ayan yung lindol. Okay? So, it happens along fault lines. Very common that it happens along fault lines kasi nga this is the area na nagkakaskasan yung dalawang tectonic plates or dalawang plate boundaries. So, the more na nagkakaskasan sila, the more friction you are generating, the more energy you are producing, the stronger the earthquake is. So kung mapapansin ninyo, pagka madalas magkaroon ng earthquake sa isang lugar, usually yung earthquake nila ay hindi ganon kalakas. Kasi very frequent yung pagre-release ng pressure in that area. Pero yung mga lugar na hindi madalas magkaroon ng earthquake, sila yung pag nagkaroon ng earthquake, sobrang lakas naman. Kasi naiipon yung pressure. So pagka lumabas yung earthquake, sobrang lakas na nung kanyang energy na na-accumulate. So mas advisable nga or mas okay nga, advantage siguro natin that we are always experiencing earthquakes kasi the earthquakes that we are experiencing mahihina lang. Kasi hindi naiipon yung energy. So siguro meron na siyang naipon na 4, sige mag-earthquake na siya. May naipon na siya na magnitude 5, nag-earthquake na siya. So hindi ganun ka-destructive yung mga earthquakes na na-experience natin.
Saan
Pero
ba galing yan,
sa
Jen?
ibang lugar, nag-accumulate ng sobrang daming energy, umaabot na siya ng magnitude 7, magnitude 8. Yun na yung mga destructive earthquakes na nababalitaan natin. Okay? Okay, and then the release of energy because of the pressure, because of the friction, is what causes what we call as your earthquakes. Okay? And one of the positive things about this, sabi ko nga, hindi natin mapipigilan that your plates are moving towards each other na sila ay nagkakastasan. So one of the positive things about this is that the stress on the rocks causes what we call as deformation. So when your plate tectonics are moving towards each other, nagkakaroon ng deformation. So minsan tumataas yung this part, minsan tumataas yung this part, and then they continue moving each other. So nagkakaroon na tayo ng mga mountain ranges. So your mountain ranges are actually formed because of the stress on rocks. Meron ata akong picture. Wait lang ha. Ayan. So for example, here, this is the area, kung mapapansin nyo, yung break niya nandito. So yung fault line niya ay nandito. So while they are, if they are, anong tawag dito? Moving towards each other, so it can cause, kung ito yung fault line, pwede siyang tumaas. So it can eventually form your mountains. So yung mga mountains nga, hindi, yung kanilang height is not constant. It's actually changing depending on the movement of the plates. So yung tinatawag nating, tawag dito? Ayan. So yung ating highest mountain in the world, ano nga ang pangalan niya? Sino makakapagsabi? The highest mountain in the world?
Vulkan.
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest. Thank you very much. Mount Everest in the Himalayan regions, it is continuously getting higher and higher and higher. Hindi ganun kataas, pero every year, for example, nag-i-increase yung height niya ng 1 millimeter every year. So, nag-i-increase siya, pero hindi ganun kalaki. And the reason why it is continuously increasing is because the rocks are continuously pushing against each other, which forms the mountain hanggang sa tumaas na siya ng tumaas. So, most of the, you can imagine that in Mount Everest, may plate boundaries doon and they are moving towards each other. Okay? So, I will continue our discussion, pero mag-i-end yung aking meeting room. Join